do the fans in red quick. It's a 2005 Blazer Red. It's I think they're 3-core factory, not sure, but it's brand new. It was, I think, 100. I was under 200 bucks, and I had to trim. You can't even really see it. Not this side so much. I trimmed a little bit in there. I wanted to keep this. I didn't want to cut this, but it wasn't this clean when I got it either. I cleaned it up, but so I just got enough that you can get your fingers in there and turn it. On this side, quick. Yeah, that lip. I'm gonna clean it up someday, maybe when I clean up the rest of the truck. But I just cut a little bit off of this lip, and then I flipped it around, so you see it goes right back to like L shape, like it was inside there. And I never lost any strength, but that fit in pretty good. And it's got foam tape, and it's got rubber on the bottom. A little hose leak there. Clean that again. And it's got Dodge Sebring fans from 05. I don't know what you can see on this potato foam, but they fit in there good. I mean, there's loads of room here. And I don't think that's a short water pump either. I think that's the middle. I don't know. It's not that long. Anyway, it fits. It cools pretty good. This, I just thought it would look better. It's just lawn edging, goes around. I made it kind of look fancy. It's got a relay, goes to a switch in the dash. That works pretty good. I just didn't want to leave the key on and kill the battery with the fan, so I said, yeah, put it on a relay. Do it the smart way. So, and the first time I had it for a test drive, the heater cord blew. And I put a new one in, and I said, maybe, just in case sometime, I want to shut that off. Well, you know, valves. Don't know. Looks cool. People ask, and they're like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." So, I mean, you need heat here. I drove it the first year I had it was last year, and I drove it till late October. Yeah, it's just a basic. You know, it's got. You can't really see. They are header hookers. I'm not sure. He had angle plug heads, and cut a little bit here, just to make his plug angle better. But it didn't affect anything. I mean, everything's still, you know, bolts up the same. They're snug. They don't touch anywhere. It's actually got a, I don't know if you can see the flex pipe, 2.5-inch flex pipe down there instead of a collector, which is cool unless you got to take the exhaust apart, and then you'd have to make a collector past that. But it works for now. And it's got a Unisteer company is Unisteer manual rack and pinion. And it's basically got a adjustable. It's nice. It's stainless shaft. Runs through these headers really nice. Doesn't get hot. It's even got a little heat boot there. And it goes down to a. It's got a Heim. It's adjustable. I mean, this bracket's not, but you know, you can adjust the in and out on it to allow for header clearances. It works really good. And it's tight. It's manual steering, so it is what it is, but it bolts where the factory power steering box, it uses 2 of those bolts. The other bolt holes goes in behind that plate. But yeah, it uses the factory holes. There's your shaft. Those are the tie rods. We go into the spindles. I'll show you those in a second. But it's a nice kit. It bolts up to a stock frame. It uses the idle arm on the other side for the bracket to hold everything in place. It's nice. It's nice. It's powder coated. It's got a few years on it. And it's still good. And then we go down, look at the spindle quick, and nothing, you know, spectacular. But that's a Caltrac. I think they're 3-inch drop spindle. There's a Caltrac, maybe 2-inch. Nah, I don't know. Maybe those are 2-inch. I think it's like 4 altogether. Anyway, they're Caltrac, and it's got a. Got lowering shocks on it. I'll get into those in the rear. But it handles good. It steers like a standard steering does. Once you're moving, it's fine. Backing up from a dead stop, or you know, fucking feeding her the corn, can get a little hairy because you don't have the power factor in your steering wheel. So it's a, you know, it's white knuckle, both of them. You know, do your thing. But it's fun. It's just a fun old ratty truck. And so yeah, I got a couple things left to do underneath the hood there. I've been working on other things. we'll get into that in a second. And I mean, we can go inside. It's nothing. We'll get in there in a minute. It's nothing spectacular. It's just a stalker, you know. I love it. I love the bench seat. Get into that in a second. But that's the thing. This is actually, that was put on there in 1991, and that is correct. And even inside the door tag is correct. This is a GMC, not a Chevrolet. But I don't care. Some people are purists and don't like that shit. I don't care. Everybody did these trucks. Yeah, it's a Sonoma SL. But they went the extra mile on this honey. You know, she's got they even swapped out the horn button, which you could do back in the day. And the coup de grace, the S10 dash plate, which a lot of people overlooked when they jankied these trucks and said, I like the S10 front end better, or I like the GMC 3-piece grill better, you know. I love it. Yeah, it's got a Chevy tailgate. Who cares? Put a roll pan on it. Fits like shit. Someday I get it painted, I'll get somebody to really go over it. They all hit, but it's, you know, it's function. It didn't have a bumper. Needed something. But it's pretty straight. It's got a couple dents. Like I said, I think they were all from the camper that was on it. Maybe sliding. There's no deep dents. Got to pull a little one there. But it's pretty damn straight, and I love it. I love it, Ratty. So yeah, there's a quick, tiny little walk around. It's a small truck. We'll do it quick. But let's get back here for a second. And 1 second, I need a drink. Yummy. So yeah, that's the stock 10-bolt 7.5 rear. I cleaned it up this year. It had a lot of dirt. 330,000 kilometers of dirt. A lot of rubber in here. Don't know. Whatever. Anyway, this is the 7.5 with a twist. It's got a carrier from an 86 Monte Carlo SS, which shared the 7.5 rear end, same as I think the Camaro, maybe the IROC had it. And it's got the posi unit from that. I lucked out, and it had 308 gear set with it too. So I used just the housing. I used the carrier and the pinion. That's it from the Monte Carlo. Let me stress that. And they were 28 spline. This truck, oddly enough, was a 26 spline, because it's a 91. I think in 89, 90, someone can clear me up. They went from 28 to 26. No one knows why, because 28's better. So I got some, and luckily a buddy of mine had an 86 S10 frame, nothing else, with a rear end that had 28 splines. So it's a Monte Carlo posi carrier factory. Not sure what more to say than it's 7.5. It'll live somewhat of a good life for the rest of it. With 28 spline S10 axles. And then we get into this. What the fuck? That is from a company called Little Shop. And they were on the truck when I bought it. It's basically a caliper bracket kit. And just bolts to your stock 7.5. And these, I were told, and they looked them up because this one's got a ripped boot and I might repair it or replace the whole thing. 88 IROC. So probably 86 to, I'd go maybe as far as 90 IROC rear calipers. These, I'm told, again, are 95 Z28 front rotors on the back. So that's what makes all that work. Plus it uses the S10 front part of the parking brake cables. I don't know, maybe it is S10, but they're a click lock parking brake caliper, whatever the fuck you call them. And yeah, they've got spacers because of the wheels, which are Camaro. I had these laying around. I got these for $100. Cleaned them up, painted them. And these are the real deals because You can see that rear, and front. They say it too. They're dirty. Fuck, they're dirty. Yep, there. Front. The difference is not the width, it's the offset by an inch. The reason it has spacers is because for one, they were too close to the wheel weights, no matter which. If I swap the rears to the front, front to the rears, I think that might be because of the spindles. I'm not sure. But anyway, they're on there for now. These are ZQ8s. They need good refinish. They're good, but the paint needs to be redone. So they're going on with a fatter set of tires next. But they got me by, you know. $100 spacers, $100 rims, $100 tires. One summer, they're pretty much toast. But the coup de grace. What do we have here? Ooh, yeah. So yeah, they're Calvert Racing Caltrax, and a lot of guys want them. I now know why a lot of guys like them and want them for these trucks. Check those out. Homemade. I couldn't. They're too far away. It's California, and I'm way over on the Canadian coast. So I made them. The 1/8. You know what they are. So anyway, I got these used, but they were only used for like half of last summer. Guy went with an 8.8. He was a machinist, but he wanted to know how they were made. He made his own set. He sold me these. Fucking cool guy. The only thing I had to do was get the leaf spring bushings. And if you've looked at any videos, these, you basically know what they are and what you're looking at. Here it is on blocks. I mean, there's too much blocks. I didn't do it. The truck was lowered when I got it. I'm keeping it that way. New U-bolts. And there's your Caltrac pad. There's your Caltrac bar. They're loose now because I've just put them on. And yeah, I've got to put weight in, put it on the wheels, and do the put the dime, however you want to do it, preload, yada yada. You already know that shit. But I'm hoping these will cure what I've had for a problem lately. Pretty much ever since I put the posi in. Not so much taking off from a dead. Well, you can't take off from a dead stop and pin it. You're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to burn out. But if you're driving along and you're feeling good, she sounds good. Second gear and well, when this thing kicks the 4 barrels, which they need a tune, they kick in around 3,800 to like 4,000. It'll say, no, fuck you, traction. I don't want you. And then it kind of, things back there kind of, which is cool, but not when you're, you're doing the speed limit through places you shouldn't be going anyway. But so I'm hoping these are going to stiffen things up a bit, and I know they will. And definitely new rubber. These were trash. I've got my $100 out of them. But that's her rundown, I guess. The exhaust. There's, headers. Don't know, Headman, maybe. They go to 2.5. Then they come back to, I think they're Dynamax Pro Series, I think. They're stainless steel, 2.5 in, 2.5 out. And they dumped here, which was cool. I mean, they had, turn downs, and they dumped right here. But when you fire this thing up with headers and those, which are basically bottle rockets, good Lord. It was even a little too loud for me. The box floor would quiver in between the ribs, especially at stoplights. And I loved it, don't get me wrong. I fucking love loud. But as far as driving it, with being there and the noise there, and my ears really fucking hurt. So I had a buddy of mine give me some Dodge Ram tips from his 16 Sport. He went with a different style. I had another buddy at the garage hook me up with some exhaust pipe, and we cut the turn downs. He nicely bent and hung pipe. I even told him to do this. I said, I want it like the Ram. get in there and snip that. He did a great job. I might have even moved it a little bit. I had these undone to get the leaf springs and stuff out, push bushings in, but I love it now. I'm getting so I love everything about this truck. And I'm hoping these little bars are gonna make me love it even more and be able to enjoy it a little more, because it's fun. It's so fun. I don't know what really beats. I've had square bodies with big blocks. I haven't had Camaro. A lot of Trans Ams, Mustang 5 liters, some fast, cool stuff. But this thing just fucking goes. And I want to see someday, you know, we're talking put an 8.8 in there, obviously shorten it, do more up here, and get treble and weight. And I want to drag race it someday, just to see what it'll do. So here we are, first cruise with the Caltrax. We're doing about, I don't know, probably about 75 maple syrups. I don't know how many bald eagles per hour that is, but so we're not tacking much with the 308s. It's 225/50s. But I can feel it is tighter. Like, not even downshifting, it is just tighter, which I like. It doesn't feel like that leaf spring on the passenger side rear is twisting at all. Because I know it's lowered and it rides good, and it's got lowering shocks. It rides good, but you could always feel that spring just twisting and literally wanting to send this thing into that ditch. So far, no burnouts yet. Gotta check shit, gotta drive it. So far, very good purchase. Loving the Caltrax for the handling ability. Coming out of corners, give it a little throttle already. I can feel it's just tighter. It wants to stay straighter. And that was, yeah, as far as air gap, it was a zip tie. I put a zip tie under the roller on the leaf spring on the driver's side. Passenger side, I'm letting it touch. It's just touching the spring. We're gonna try that for our, ooh, gotta bleed those brakes again. Try that for our starting point. Do some burns, tighten some shit up, see what happens.